Speaking of the past, in 1976, a tasting was held in Paris, later deemed the Judgment of Paris, which went on to elevate California wine to be comparable to the brilliant wines of France. In a blind tasting by leading French wine experts, a Stag's Leap Wine Cellars 73 vintage Cabernet Sauvignon took first place among such prestigious first growth Bordeaux as Chateau Mouton Rothschild and Chateau Haut-Brion. Later, this same Stag's Leap Wine Cellars cab was placed in the Smithsonian National Museum of American History to reflect the influence that this tasting had to elevate the U.S. wine industry. And the man that created this spectacular wine was none other than 90 years young Warren Winiarski. In December of 2017, Warren was inducted into the California Hall of Fame by Governor Jerry Brown, recognized not only for his victory at the Judgment of Paris, but for his later extraordinary global efforts to showcase and preserve the history of the land and the wine of California.
Thomas Jefferson once said, "We could, in the United States, make as great a variety of wines as are made in Europe. They would be different, but they would be doubtless as good." I thought I would follow a career academically, my work at the University of Chicago. And it was that year in Italy, as part of a graduate study in Italian literature, that changed everything. I felt that all of the things I loved about having wine with a meal in Italy spoke to me. It was, you might say, an epiphanal moment, because I was never the same afterwards. We put all our earthly possessions in a station wagon. We drove to California. And I had the great luck to work for Robert Mondavi. He was a great teacher. After 2 years with Robert Mondavi, I tasted a wine that a man named Nathan Fay had made from his own grapes. It was another epiphany, and it said, "This is a place for Cabernet that you want to make."
The Paris tasting is in May of 1976. All of the judges were French. There was one journalist who attended. He wrote that American wines, they defeated all Gaul.
The wine I made came in first. The results spoke for themselves.
Warren's bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon from Stag's Leap, it is the point at which Napa changes its status from being regional to being international. And we have now come of age in terms of wine in the world.
The Smithsonian has produced a volume, 101 Objects That Made America, and it includes Neil Armstrong's spacesuit, it includes the Spirit of St. Louis, it includes the Star-Spangled Banner, and it also includes the 1973 Stag's Leap Wine Cellars Cabernet Sauvignon.
Warren has been extremely generous to UC Davis in so many different ways, including the library. When we started to amass a few of these papers from different wine writers, Warren recognized that we could document the thought process that wine writers used to document what was going on in grape growing and winemaking, and that is invaluable.
To preserve the wine writer's work became important. Better words make for better wine. Preservation is very important to me. In '68, there was the effort to create an ag preserve on the valley floor, and I fought for that. It was important to give agriculture enough time to show what it could do before it was overrun with housing. Wine spoke to me. It said, "Listen to me. I'm talking to you." I felt that. With most arts, you have to find that place that's not too much or not too little and try to express that. And then you have a chance of expressing beauty.
Please welcome to the stage an American wine legend, Warren Winiarski. Here's your fans.
Thank you. Thank you. It's such an honor to be here tonight. And to the wine enthusiast team, and especially to Adam and Sybil, many thanks for this treasured award. And to my 3 children, Kasha, Stephen, and Julia, who joined me here tonight, thank you for your love, for your work, and for your support. And loving thanks to my wife, Barbara, who is not with us tonight, but she's in the Napa Valley, and she'll get the full news. And with the help and enthusiasm of you all in different and measured ways, tonight is for all of us. I repeat, for all of us having worked together, wing to wing and oar to oar. Please stand and be recognized. Kasha, Stephen, and Julia, would you stand and be recognized? Thank you. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge my debt to good fortune. I know many of you here, looking with frankness at your own past, might recognize that bright light which came your way and which you did not foresee. And with that thought, I want to acknowledge my indebtedness to some of my friends and teachers who were the source of an enrichment to my life in wine. By the way, some of you know that in Polish, my wine means from a winemaker. The ski part and the vineyard part is obvious. And the first of those is Lee Stewart, for whom the smallest detail of winemaking was important. And to Robert Mondavi, for whom there was no high vision that could not be exceeded. And to Andrei Chelistchev, for whom beauty in wine was the final goal. And for Nathan Fay, who planted in 1961 Cabernet, which inspired me to purchase the adjoining prune orchard. That's the wine that produced the Paris tasting. And that vineyard, now through the Land Trust of Napa County, has been given the opportunity of always producing beautiful wine. And to the Napa Valley itself, may its guarded abundance be used by many wine legends in the future. One might say all stories that have a happy ending should end that way. Thank you again.
Beautiful.